Hello? Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome back. You should all be able to hear me today. Unlike yesterday, where we had a lot of technical difficulties. And hello, Primitive. Hi, Bay. How you been? You've come back in time for Furality. We'll be going to hang out at Furality today. Not all of Furality has opened up quite yet. There's still some areas that are not quite there yet. Technically, opening ceremonies hasn't even gone yet. But there's some panels going. You're live, you're kicking, that's good to hear. Let's keep it that way, alright? Everything's still running it, that's good. So I may have had a little bit of a breakdown and gone and unplugged the new internet and replugged in the old internet. That was the problem the other day. I spent all of yesterday trying to find a solution and then proceeding to sit around and do nothing because I couldn't do anything with the new internet. So we'll see how long I get to keep this keep the old internet, because that new internet, not good. And for those that might not have been here the other day, I don't think you guys heard me at all. How have I been? I've been doing pretty good. I've been working on avatars. This is my newest avatar. You'll see me run around in this one quite a bit. I do have technically 2 avatars for Furality, set up for Furality. I have another version of this one set up, and then I have a Nova Beast set up. You guys will get to see the Nova in a little bit. It was really bad yesterday. Yeah, I know. I had no control over that, so. But we're gonna enjoy the nice stream today, and hopefully I can work out something so we can keep the nice streams going. That's the important thing. Glad we found my way back. Yeah. It was a time. I appreciate that you guys understand that it was very much out of my control. Oh, so Shirio, I think I have to redo my entire avatar. To like edit it at all anymore. Like start a brand new project level of redo, basically. If I want to try to upload again. Yeah, my computer did a little crashy crash while I was working on it this morning. And now the file's corrupted. So we're gonna call this one good enough, and I am not going to try to edit this one at all for the rest of Reality. I don't need to spend any extra time in Unity. Yeah. But yeah, no, my computer has been doing a funky. It will randomly sometimes, not quite a black screen, but basically a black screen with some text on it. And it'll say, like, computers encountered a critical error, needs to restart. And it scares me every single time. I'm just like, oh my god, no. Please, no. I can't afford to get you fixed. So, that's a fun one that I have currently going on. But I'll be doing another full scan of my computer again soon. So, as far as I know, yes. I think it was, what is it? Just the other week, I did a full scan, full virus scans, full file scans, checked for updates, like hardware updates, graphic card updates. I don't think there's anything else I need to update. Besides, like, actual hardware. Which, that costs money. So, that is... It has me a little nervous. My next step is actually pulling my computer apart and making sure everything is properly plugged in. Because that is said to sometimes cause it. And if I remember correctly, that started up after the last time I pulled it apart to clean it, so. Yeah. And, like, normally I don't do, like, a full pull apart to clean, so. I just sort of, like, pull the front panel off, pull the sides off, give everything a really good dusting, usually take, like, just dry Q-tips to all the fans to, you know, get all the dust and stuff that builds up on them off. Like, all the vents and stuff, I'll take those off and take them outside and use compressed air on that to clean those off. That's usually what I do. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and go through, check everything. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to start thinking about actually taking my computer somewhere to get it looked at. And be like, hey, it's doing a thing. I don't know why. My wallet's gonna hurt after this, but can you please help? So, the last time I cleaned my computer, it was way past cleaning. I took the front panel off, and a sheet of dust fell off. So, I was a little overdue. Why is that? Looking. Oh, that's why. Hang on. Hang on a second. I don't know why it keeps minimizing things. But it keeps minimizing things. On me? Search. I go like that. I go like that. And it'll go like that. Don't need that many frames from you. I can make you fairly see-through. Okay. Now that was overdue for cleaning. Yes! It was very much. I think though that was all winter I had left that. Because I was just like, I'll wait till the warm day to clean it when all the windows are open and, you know, so the house ain't dusty or anything like that. Wait till it's warm out. Oh, it's not warm enough. No, I'm not. I'll just wait a little longer. Just kept getting pushed back and back and back and back. And then, next thing I know, I looked over one day and I couldn't see the RGB in my fans. And I'm like, oh no. I can't push it back anymore. I can't tell if my computer's on and off by the RGB. Anyways, shall we make our way over to Furality? We've just been hanging out in my room. Would you guys like to head over to Furality? I will warn you, I'm gonna look a little weird when I'm yapping at you guys, because I'm gonna yap like this. So my mouth is not going to be moving when I'm talking to you guys. That way I'm not gonna be bothering everyone else at Furality. So, you have to open up your laptop to clean it. That is important. Let me just check to see who's on right now. Okay. Alright, let me start working on getting an invite on over. Actually, let me check the schedule. What's going on? A audio visual fur meetup, 3D fur meetup, and the story behind Fireside Feelings panel. Okay, what's up next? Airplane, Dragon, Aromatic meetup, Kangaroo and Marsupial meetup, along with, what is the other one? Unity lighting, visual polish, and VR chat. I think that's where we're gonna go. I think we're gonna head over to the... Yes, I'm muting the microphone on the game end. Because I use two mics. Essentially. I have the headset mic, and then I have my game. I have another headset over top of it all. That's how I talk to you guys. But all I'm doing is muting it on the game side. So that way, people around me in game, they won't hear me yapping at you guys. So I won't be bothering them. Because we want to be respectful. We don't want to impede anyone else's convention experience. Which reminds me, I need to set up a filter for this. I am going to be setting it up so that way you guys can't see anyone else. Just for, like, while I expect everyone to be appropriate, I do want to be on the safe side, so. He's gonna look a little funky. Alright. And enjoy your lurk there. Alright, what time is it? Hey, it's like almost done. So. Event info and access. Okay, so I can't get in there early. Pets do not work. I will head pet my, if I can get my hand up there, I will head pet my, that's as close to a head pet as I can get. So. Hands are a little weird in this avatar. And hello, Flopper, how you been? Yes. Dragon. Wait till you see Shirio. Alright, That reminds me, I still need to get that asset for the lighting. Okay, hang on. Do we want to go to a panel about Unity lighting in VR chat? Or do we want to go to the dealer's room and see any of the booths that were not there previously? Telepathically feel the pets. Alright. I'm sure when Shirio gets in here, because he is planning to join me, he'll give those head pats for you. And also, not today, because it doesn't open till very late at night. I think it opens, I'm actually not sure what time it opens. But, tomorrow, you guys will catch me at the rave. So, you don't care where we go? I'm sort of waiting for this one to open up. So we're going to wait another couple minutes and then we'll try to get in. You haven't seen us in the same instance? We've been trying to do streams together for the past... We tried to do it every... What was it? Tuesday. Every Tuesday we try to stream together. He usually comes in a little bit later into my stream, but... And usually I just send you guys on over to him after. Also, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming this weekend. I might be streaming this weekend, though. So just a heads up on that. If I do, it's going to be spontaneous. And it might be over on TikTok. So, I haven't streamed over there in a hot minute. I should stream over there. We've left them alone for long enough. Maybe they've calmed down over there. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see how I'm feeling. Because I also want to enjoy the convention too. So. They haven't calmed down over there. When does TikTok ever calm down, truly? Right. I got another, like, 8 minutes till I can get into the correct instance. If I try to get in now, it's not going to send me into the correct one. Yeah, I haven't been spending... Well, it's not true. I do scroll on TikTok still. But I have not been posting. Oh, you got some bread. I don't know why Lenore's not talking. Lenore, you're not doing your job. You have one job. You're supposed to do your job. I'll have to figure out why Lenore's not talking. At a later time. I can't do it right now. You said the longest 8 minutes of my life. Anyways, let me actually... I'm gonna switch out of this avatar. And... we are going to switch into the Furality avatar, because this one's more of my standard looking one, so. I can't see anything there. Slightly crashing. Avatars. I need to get a good photo for that one. I'll probably do that during Furality. Okay, there we go. A little bit different. You have some sparkles. We have my badge. We have a Tamagotchi. No, it's over on this side. Over on the horn. Did I ever fix Lenore? Sometimes Lenore talks. And then the answer is no. I'm sorry, what's going on? Are you doing a private instance? I'm sorry, did you get the party pass? Wait, I want to see what's going on here. It's celebrating Cable's birthday performance featuring... You're throwing things at me, I'm trying to read! Featuring guest stars such as Furry Metal musician when Snakes Sing, iconic alt artist Ivy Combe. I've heard that name before. Nerdcore legend Chi from Has-Been Hotels Attic, and I can't read the rest. Let me keep reading. Oh, well, let me read the rest. That sounds like fun. We could go do that. Oh, we're almost there. I don't think I can get into these yet. Info and access. Oh, there we go. I can get in. Alright. And as far as I know, Shirio, you're not on yet, so I'm just gonna join. Let's go. Off we go. I do think this area is technically in a ship. If you look at the map. Anyways, I'm going to, like, kill our music. Alright. You guys like the background photo? I figured I'd give you guys something to look at. Oh, we're getting in. Maybe. I might have just crashed. Oh, yep, I crashed. Okay. Give me a second. I did a little crashy crash. We're all good. We're all good. I promise. Hello? Let me in. Okay, hang on. I have to get my camera back. Oh god, the music. No! Just you. Thank you. Camera. Hang on. I'm going to just... Move you there. Okay. That's it there. Move that. Move that. Move that. Okay. Hello again. Alright, let's try that again. And hopefully not crash this time. Alright, let's find one. Hello? Can I say? And we'd like to see. Go there. There's my invite. All right. Once again, let's try this.
French dude that makes those weird, bizarre worlds.
Green channel. So technically, it's actually also recommended. It's actually recommended to channel pack all of those textures together in a single texture, so that saves a bit of texture memory, and also it reduces the build size a bit. Now, when you make your own materials or download it from online sources, chances are you don't get the metallic texture. That's because the surface can usually only be metallic or not, and it wouldn't make much sense to use a fully black or fully white texture. That's just wasted texture memory. But that also makes it a bit awkward storing the smoothness data in the alpha channel of a fully black or fully white texture. That also feels wasted. So
Okay.
if the material is opaque, you can store the smoothness texture in the albedo alpha channel instead and set source to albedo.
So I've made it in.
That's the drop down visible in the top right corner.
Give me a second.
So I'm getting you to figure out why.
As I figure out where everything is.
Very similar to a metallic shader variant, except that the shader uses a specular
We're struggling a little.
instead of using a black and white metallic texture. Now,
Oh boy, my lighting does not like this.
you choose the specular workflow. But most of the time,
I'm gonna like oversaturate the world a little bit.
materials from online
So you guys can see me.
workflow. The specular workflow is, in my opinion, a bit more difficult to use, but it can be really useful in some cases. For instance, using the specular workflow, you can easily control the color of a specular reflection using a specular color property, which is great for things like a coated camera lens that reflects a greenish, yellowish, or bluish tint depending on the lens you're using. This kind of effect is
Hang on, I can't see what you're saying.
using the metallic workflow because only metallic surfaces can reflect colored specular
Shiny?
reflections.
Yes.
Lastly, you can also change the intensity of a specular reflection by making the specular color more or less darker. Ambient occlusion is pretty interesting because it lets you darken areas of a mesh that should receive less ambient light, like corners, cracks, or crevices. I put a few examples on the right, but basically ambient occlusion is an indirect light multiplier. Indirect light includes ambient light
Oh, that's
and
better.
environment reflection. You can see, for instance, on the right,
Oh,
the
that's
inside of the
cool.
mouth got darker, so less ambient
They have
light,
built-in
and also lets
subtitles
you
into the
reflect
world.
by adding an ambient occlusion texture. Another interesting property is that
Okay,
real-time
yeah.
light sources diminishes ambient occlusions. Notice that the inside of the mouth got brighter when I put the light source in
There we
it.
go.
That's an effect you won't get if you bake an ambient occlusion texture directly into a main texture.
Okay. Come here.
Detail maps are a feature supported by most shaders. In the example on the right, I have a concrete texture that has a very noticeable repeating pattern. By using a detail map, I can help break up that repetition, also add extra surface details by making the concrete block texture look dirtier and more brittle. Basically, you can try different kind of detail texture and keep the one you prefer. That technique can also be used on avatars to add details like cloth, skin, fur, etc. Now,
So the person you see at the pedestal there, they're essentially a projection. So someone has,
allowing you to do pretty much whatever you want. It is pretty close to
well, he probably is.
but once you start using textures from
So this is a presentation on lighting in Unity and in VRChat.
yes, that's World Texture 87 that I've used in the past. Yeah,
I like how they have added the subtitles like that.
Now I start talking about the biggest part of this presentation. It's about light mapping. So real-time light sources, they have a few issues. First of all, real-time light sources are performance heavy.
Oh, I see the dome. Or okay, I see one of the domes that we're going to be able to go explore.
Don't turn the light bounces, meaning that the lighting is less realistic and can make certain areas darker
Like
than
over
they should be.
there.
The normal real-time
I
light
think that's
sources
the main, like,
once
essentially
you go to
convention
the
area.
that setting
We just
is
haven't
defined in the project settings.
been
On
given
VRChat,
access to
we do
that.
not have- We do not have access to it, and on VRChat it is 8 light sources maximum. Meaning that when you have more than 8 active light sources in the scene, then Unity will start prioritizing light sources and only use those that have a higigher priority.
So this is essentially the panel room
You see sometimes light sources turning on and off.
where we can view all the panels and watch them. It looks like there's a bunch of seating areas. There's a whole group of Mayus are in front of me, like at a level down below in front of me.
So one solution would be to pre-compute the lighting, which is called light mapping. This improves the performance because we rely less on
But
light sources.
this is sort of what we do here, and this is part of what a convention is. You know, you go to panels, you hang out, you talk to people, you go explore, you look at people's outfits, costumes, that type of thing. Somewhat what happens here.
Objects just simply get the light information directly from the texture. Now, to make this work, every object needs its own unique space.
But there's a ton of really cool stuff that goes on. So I don't know if it was the one right before this or the one before that. It was a one about like rigging and monster movement, and it was someone who actually worked on Dead by Daylight, if I remember correctly. Like he actually rigged and made some of the like creatures and monsters and stuff like that move and stuff like that.
First of all, it generates a light map texture which increases build size and it uses more memory.
So there's tons and tons of really cool stuff. Actually, I already know who I'm going to be rating after stream here. I'm actually going to be rating you into this to an extent. Yes, for real. There's a lot of technical panels. There's some performance panels. There's some showcase panels. There's some competitions. There's some game shows that'll happen. Here, let me see what's like on the roster right now. Let me see.
The first step will be to, before we can actually start baking your light maps, we need to create the
Details.
No.
So the panel right before this was about in like today's society, how with AI and everything like that, about how like just like can we really make a connection in true feelings with each other even in a digital space. I think that's what that one is about. I didn't catch it. The one before that was about animation in the tech. The animation of tech of making monsters move. So that's the one I was talking about before. Yes, if I understand correctly, that's what he did. He created the rigs and like helped made them move, and he went through the process on how to do that. From everything from like not so much modeling the creatures, but like getting the bones together, getting the rigs, the weight paint, like you have to like get the animations, the different types of programs you can use for walk cycles, how you, the different things you can do to get it so like this monster knows to walk to there, and how the different programs you can use to get the monsters to walk, and some of their pros and cons, that type of stuff.
Now to create a Lightmap UV in Blender, well, basically you just need to add a new UV map. You don't need to name it, it doesn't matter.
So like the next panel is, what is it? After creation with paper fan, we got Smart UV project is quick and easy and can be good enough, but hackers with tails. We got match the game VR, which sounds more like a game, more like a game show. Then we got an hour break. We got how not to get scammed online. This one is a performance. It's a piano. It's a piano performance. So someone is going to like actively be playing the piano on stage to perform that, and potentially singing too. So the cool thing is, I'm actually going to be sending, after stream today, I'm actually going to be sending you to watch this. So you guys are going to be able to watch this after stream. We need to tell Unity which objects should contribute to the global elimination system by enabling the contribution. That's who I'm going to raid you into. I'm going to raid you into this. So that's another really cool thing about this convention. Yes, you can purchase a ticket and you can attend like this, or on desktop, or on even on mobile, you can attend. But you can also view and watch every single panel, including you can also watch the rave usually entirely for free. And like just gotta fly by Mayu. At least I think that was Mayu. Increasing it can help brighten areas that receive less light. There's also a bake shutter radius setting, and personally I like to see it as a radius. Yeah, I'm actually interested in this. Working with a light source that is, let's say, a 1 meter large orb, you can set the bake shutter radius to 0.5, which is basically what. I am slightly interested in world creation, so. But yeah, no, this is all streamed live, so. You just select the material and you set the global animation to baked, and emissive materials gives you. I haven't had my hand. I haven't tried my hand at world creation yet, but that is something that I do want to try. Now, when baking your likes, and if you're not working with any real-time light sources in your scene, you will notice that dynamic objects like avatars or props are not properly lit up anymore. Now, there are a few ways to fix that issue, but we usually work with light props for it. But light props, it's basically. Do you guys want to watch me, or do you guys want to watch the? No, the panel. That's probably not something that you guys want to watch. You guys want to watch me, but yeah. Light probes have a few drawbacks, but the main issue is that light probes are evaluated per object, not per pixel. So if a probe is placed too close to a very small light source, and an avatar gets too close to that probe, then the avatar will be entirely lit up by that. There's opening ceremonies. Looks pretty ugly, yeah? But for more so that's probably when. the main convention floor gets opened up.
It's also light baking at points in space, so
Another
you
really
cannot
cool
signal
thing
light pros, but
that
instead of offering
the
perfect
convention
lighting,
does
it offers pervoxel lighting, which makes it more accurate and
is
also really interesting in words
we have like the
that have
full
a more
schedule and
complex
everything
lighting
like
setup.
that.
For instance, a cyberpunk world with
But we
very
also have
neon
different
lights or
areas we
huge
can
strips
go
of different
explore.
colors here, I would say
So like right
these are
now
really
we're in the
important.
stage,
Note
which
that
is almost
channel
like a little
packing
ship up
gives
in
stone a
the
free texture, which
sky,
can heavily increase
which
build size. But
I
also
think I
to keep in
pointed
mind, you want
out
to avoid
from the
making
dealer's
one
room.
really high resolution light volume
Uh,
that covers the entire board, but you can combine multiple light volumes of different resolutions.
it looks like
Now, light
Club
volumes
Fin,
require
which
combat
is
shells
the
as
dance
before, but
floor,
Lava Dice
is
Virtual
also going to
Chambers
be in a
created
ship
by VHR
this year.
community supports light volumes.
We
Now, I know
have
that light volumes
like
at
almost like a
low base
community hub
can be overkill for simple
where
lighting
it's going to be
setups.
sort of our
In some
main
parts of your world have
hangout
some primitive
area.
simple lighting setup with basic shadows. You can use light
The
projects to
meetup
help you
area
also
looks like
help
it's
you
going to
with
be
your
almost more
colors and the data.
tropical looking.
So just as an example of what we are currently in,
We could
offers
go
light
over there,
volumes
but
with pretty
there's no
low peak
meetups that I
value,
want to
right?
go
So
to right
there can
now.
be some words
There's
you
one
just don't
some
need
there's
low
some
signals,
later
but
on in
colors
the
can
day
still
that I
look
want to go
pretty.
to.
Okay,
The
now
dealer's
that
den
we
we've
have
been to before, which
configured our light map,
apparently
let's
is also
time to configure
technically floating
the
in the
light tracker.
void. And then
Now,
another
under
re-
the lighting tab,
another
you
thing that I
activate the
actually really
lighting
like
setting asset,
is they
and
have
you can
games
start
set
configuring
up.
the light mapper. And
Um,
here I would recommend
so you'll
setting
have
the
your like
device to
fishing
work with shadow
games,
pack
you'll
to make it
have
easy to
Among
interact.
Us, you'll
It also
have
supports shadow packing with
like
inbuilt effects with
murder,
stand-baked shadows.
you'll
Now, under
have
the light
probably
mapper,
like
I would recommend setting it to
Blackout.
quick
You might
proximity
have some
viewing
other
because it
ones
is much
going.
faster.
I don't know
And I
which ones
would
they have this
recommend
year.
turning off
Just
progressive
listing off
cursor
some of the
because it
VR
also
games that they
heavily
have
improves the
in
baking
VR
time.
chat. But they'll
Now,
be
you also have
all
another
those
setting here
instances
for
will
the
be
sample count setting.
exclusive
So the higher the
to
value of the sample
attendees
per
of the
quality, it
convention.
also increases the baking time.
And
First of
since
all, you
the
have the
convention is
sample
18
count, which
plus,
includes
you don't have to worry
sources
about
before
any
lighting setup
kids
mode. Now, if you're working with high
getting
shadows,
in
technically you can set the volume
and
to
being
low because
like,
it really only affects
we're
the quality
here.
if you're working with
We're
soft
gonna
shadows. So the softer
just
your
scream
shadows,
at
the
you.
higher that value should
And you
be.
don't have to worry about anyone
Now,
being
influence
like
intensity is a much
elitist
more
or
important
being like,
setting because it will bring bounce back, which you have
I'm going to
the
kick you
full
just
area has
because you're in
zero
a
bounce
furry
backs, but
avatar
it
or
also
anything
includes
like
emission
that.
materials. So here I would
You
recommend
can
setting it
just
to
go there,
500,
hang out,
3000 or
yap,
2000, etc.
play the
Here you can
game.
set it to 2 million if you want to, but that will make the baking time to 5 hours. So yeah. Environment light, which is the light defined in the environment tab, so it's light
Hang on a
coming from
second.
the
I need to
skybox.
fix the thing.
So here, if you have, let's say, a very noisy skybox, like a very detailed skybox, you can, here you need to set the value to pretty high value, otherwise you get very noisy results.
Okay.
You can also control the light map resolution.
That was a good
light
thing
map
I ate
size,
before
and
stream today.
resolution if you want to.
Look
Now,
at me,
light map
eating
size,
before
I
stream.
recommend if you have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you can set it to 2K light maps. If you have, let's say, 12 or 16 gigabytes of VRAM, you can try baking it at 4K. Yeah. So a Unity baker needs a lot of VRAM to bake 4K light maps. At the bottom, there are also a few additional settings on the light map parameters.
I like how they're just like, the more powerful your system, the more you can bake.
And it will bake a lot of light maps. But when it's turned on, then Unity will respect the max light map count setting.
I actually need to check a thing.
Adjust the texel density.
I need to check my party. See if anyone else tried to join
That setting is set to non-directional, then
without
Unity
me
will only bake one
noticing.
HDR light map and normal map surfaces will look flat. Use that option if you
Nope.
don't need,
Okay.
don't use normal maps. It also helps reducing the build size a bit. Now when that setting is set to directional,
I had
then Unity will bake one HDR light map and one additional directional light
a really
map.
cool feature
And
that they added last year was the
from
party
which direction
system.
light source is actually coming from.
So you could
It
travel with
will
your
adjust the
friends,
lighting intensity based on
or
the
you
map.
could quickly
However,
join your
that's easy
friends
if you're working with normal maps, it looks much better.
wherever they are.
But that directional light map is
Because
also used by some shader features like Bake
obviously,
Circular, which
like,
I will talk
this
about a
world,
bit
it's
later.
not the, like, it's pretty big, but it's not the
And finally,
biggest.
we can click on Bake, which can
But
take between 5 minutes and 5 hours depending
they
on the
couldn't
CPU
fit
doing
everyone that
something wrong.
wanted to
But if it takes
see
5
this
hours, then you
panel
did something wrong with your
in this
circuit.
world,
Now,
in
of
this
course,
single
if your rig was
instance.
broken and you're feeling
So they
anxious,
have
bake some
many,
light maps
many
will easily
instances
warm up a little
open.
bit. It works for me at
And
least.
part of what's really cool is
And
they
that's the result. Yeah,
have
you
different
can
ones that are
go
have
through
different
and work around
limitations,
your
essentially.
dashboard and see if there are any issues. And
So,
you can do some debugging. And another way to do
like,
some
some of them
debugging is just to
have
join the mesh
like a
browser
limitation
and
of
click on
15
the button
people.
that
This one is a
open
limitation of
preview,
20.
and that opens
I've
basically the
seen
light
some
map
that have limitations of like 60. Usually like the dance has like, I think the highest I've seen is in the 90s.
And yeah, basically you can just check if everything looks alright. Huh?
But that is something that you can join the limitation that your system can handle.
They should always be turned on, but for the light map, it's a different story. Yeah? So when mipmaps are enabled, Unity generates lower resolution versions of a light map, which can sometimes cause light bleeding. You can see that example on the right. As the light map resolution decreases, bleeding appears. Now, sure, you can increase the padding between each island, but padding will only help you so much, and you may still notice bleeding artifacts. So if you notice,
I don't know if you guys find this interesting, but I do.
Objects, try to disable mipmaps. And if you're using the Unity
no, you guys are slightly in the way for me to actually watch. I'm gonna just move you guys. I need to be over. Thank you. You guys need to scoot.
That's another example of how such a light map bleeding looks like. I created here a heavily subdivided plane where each face was put on a separate UV island. You should never do that, by the way, it's just as an example. And notice that there's some noticeable bleeding when the camera moves further away from that surface. Now, those bleedings
Do sort of like they have different like tiers that you can go and sit on.
Now I'll talk a little bit now about a few common
That is
issues
nice.
which you may experience when you start baking. For instance, there's the invalid texel artifact issue, which is basically when light artifacts can occur when ray hits back-facing polygons, causing Unity to mark texels are invalid. There are a few ways to fix that issue. Either you don't work with back-face polygons, or you can enable the double-sided global illumination checkbox in the material settings. Another way would be to lower the backface tolerance settings.
My back just cracked like 5 times.
But if you do that, you may experience some weird shadows on intersecting objects.
You guys will just be lurking. I appreciate that.
If you notice some colorful texels,
would you guys like to watch it?
Just compression, you can try disabling compression.
I can turn the camera around.
Lightmaps import settings, but that will increase the build size.
I don't know how well it'll look for you guys.
If you bake your light maps and everything turns pitch black, there's a chance that the shader you're using does not support light mapping. For instance, the Poemi Toon shader does not support light mapping, so when you bake your light map, it has tendencies to look pitch black. Now, the Poemi Toon Word shader supports backlighting, but the last time I tried it out, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, it didn't really support the shadow mask.
I need to turn it around. Alright.
There's something to keep in mind. So if you have like weird issues, try switching to a different shader. Now we'll talk a bit about reflection probes. So, which is also a very important thing to add in the VRChat bot. So, in an offline path trace renderer like Blender, we can generate very realistic reflections naturally through ray tracing, but that's not something we can easily do in a real-time engine like Unity, or at least not in VRChat. So many game engines including Unity.
There you guys go. Thanks. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that.
A much cheaper way to display reflections on surfaces. Now, reflection probes capture their surroundings and store the result in a cube map texture. And shaders then use that cube map to render reflections on surfaces. For rough materials, the shader samples lower resolution MIP levels of a cube map to blur the reflection. That's why MIP maps on cube maps are important. Without them, every reflective surface will look like smooth glass or plastic. Now I can see an example of a cube map texture at the bottom, but basically a cube map is made of 6 images captured in 6 different directions.
Not all of this, but some of this can also be brought over to avatar making too when you're dealing with the materials and stuff like that. You can see it pretty alright.
So we cannot tell Unity to use one reflection probe for one part of a mesh and another probe to a different part. Even if your world does not contain reflective surfaces, it's still a good idea to have at least some form of reflections in your scene because many avatars rely on them to look correct. Now, without reflection probes, reflections come from the skybox of an environment reflection fallback color. We can see a little example here on the right. Notice that when I didn't add the reflection probe in the scene, all the spheres added in the room reflect the skybox. But when I added the reflection probe, the spheres correctly reflect the room. Now, setting up reflection probes is actually relatively straightforward. You just basically put the reflection probe in the scene. You mark any object that needs to be captured by a reflection probe as a reflection probe static, and then you need to define the reflection probe bounds. And any object inside those bounds uses that reflection probe.
This has to sound so confusing to people who don't work in Unity or haven't like touched this type of stuff.
outdoor scenes or large open
And
spaces.
it has to be so confusing for you guys.
To see which option
You have to
works
be,
the best for you.
it
But
has
when
to
you use
be
box
like,
protection, make sure
what
the
is
box
this?
of the reflection probe covers the entire room.
Like, what are you talking about?
Now, if you notice weird, inaccurate reflections on certain surfaces, yeah, you can try placing the reflection probe at different locations. But some issues can't easily be fixed. In that case, you can play around with your material settings, maybe make
I
your
know it's
surface a bit
even a little
rougher
bit hard for me to
hide some
follow.
of the weird reflections. Maybe you can, I don't know, put a carpet over highly reflective surfaces. And that applies to a lot of things. If there's stuff like that is a bit ugly in your VR chatbot, or maybe if you have some Z fighting,
You're the tiniest bit educated on this type of stuff.
Complain, huh?
That is really cool. I've learned a lot from just basically clicking on things and going, what does that do?
You have little examples that uses Orwell standard shader, and Orwell standard shader has a cool feature. It has a checkbox for box projection, and when it's enabled, well, you can have box projection on mobile.
You did play around in Unreal Engine 5 when it came out.
Box projection on Quest or any.
I've never played around with Unreal Engine, but I've also never really had a reason to, so you kind of understand the general idea. That's cool.
I put here a little example on the right. So here I baked the reflection probe at a resolution of 256, and notice that the reflection doesn't look very detailed. But when I baked it at a higher resolution,
one of my friends, I've talked about him before. I've talked about Dubbins before. Dubbins 7. He runs game shows in VR chat and he streams them. He does, I think he usually tries to do them about once a month or so. But he makes all of his worlds, so he does all this type of stuff.
Now, we often trash on real-time likes, but real-time likes are not always you and me. Using real-time likes, we can achieve certain kind of effects.
I need to get a drink.
Difficult to achieve using only baked likes. So one big advantage of real-time like sources is that they can add some nice-looking specular highlights on your surfaces. But when you bake your likes, those specular highlights disappear, as we can see in the second image on the floor, because those like sources do not physically exist in your world anymore. Now we could fix that issue by setting the lighting mode to mixed, but another interesting method would be to add a very bright object in your scene and mark that object as reflection probe static and editor only. The object will only appear in the baked reflection probe and it won't appear in game as it's marked as editor only. Now we can see the effect in the third image. Notice the specular highlight on the floor.
So I've noticed something really interesting that has happened. Tiny avatars have gathered in the front, and those with like bigger avatars have gathered up in the higher tiers in the back. Like most of us that are in the back have like we've all sort of like ended up we've all sort of ended up like lounging, but it's sort of interesting to see that. Like we all just sort of naturally gravitated that way.
The bakery lightmap group selector component is a component I use pretty much all the time. It does multiple things. First of all, it allows you to override bakery-related settings in specific areas. That component also ensures that the object on all its children are baked into the same lightmap. That can also improve batching performance. There's also a few additional features I really like. So bakery does not use layers directly. Instead, it works with bitmask values. The idea is very similar to Unity layers, except that you can assign multiple bitmask values to the same mesh. That would be equivalent of setting a mesh to layer, water, and environment, which is not something you can do with a regular layer system. There's also subsurface scattering. I have a little example on the right, which is...
You just said nothing to do.
Light scattering through mesh, which is nice for glass.
Oh, and you just messed around? Little confusing though. Yeah.
Of stuff on this slide, but it's basically just a summary of what I'm about to say. So Unity's built-in lightmapper only gives you two direction options.
This is one of those things where like unless you really understand it, I'm pretty sure it confuses everyone.
Single dominant light direction. So if you have multiple light sources in the scene coming from different directions, well, the single directional vector can only store one direction. So you get an approximation that is just wrong. So Bakery offers several additional directional modes. So first of all, there's RNM, which means radio city normal mapping, and SH, which means spherical harmonic. Those support multiple light directions and colored light information. You can see that the normal map surfaces receives colored lighting from both sides.
I know how normal maps work.
And they didn't mix together to form purple.
Yeah.
Now, these modes produce more accurate
I think
results,
someone
but
just
they are
left the
also
instance.
heavier since we need to bake much more light maps, and those modes also require custom scripts and shaders. I would say they are overkill in most cases, especially in VRChat. Now, Bakery also supports mono SH, which, like standard direction light maps, only bakes a single direction light map, but the lighting information is stored differently, so it requires custom shaders to work properly. Most shaders created by VRChat community supports mono SH, but outside the VRChat sphere, it's much harder to find compatible shader. So mono SH doesn't support multiple light directions and colored light information, but still a pretty interesting alternative to dominant direction. Now, from personal experience, it does not always look better, but it depends. It usually looks better, but it's not always the case. So it's something you need to try out. Now, dominant direction, you can see it can look flatter, but this can sometimes be compensated by increasing the normal strength of a material. So which option should you choose? Well, honestly, there's no right or wrong. I would say use the one that suits you the best. Okay, I saw you. And I just would not recommend using baked normal map, as it's pretty much unusable for VRChat browser. We can see as an example here. Notice that the result looks kind of blurry, and basically you need to bake your light maps at a really stupid high resolution.
Just a little bit of a glitch.
Very simple.
There's just a tiny bit of a stutter there.
Light map is baked. Now, emissive materials tend to create very noisy results. Now, the official bakery recommendation would be to use the bakery light mesh component instead, but the issue with that component is that it requires your emissive materials to be put on a separate mesh, which I'm personally not a huge fan of, since we cannot always do that.
Sort of a funny thing. The first Furality I went to, I never actually went to any of the panels. I didn't go to any of the panels, and I didn't go to any of the meetups. And I'm sort of sad that I didn't, because later on I saw like videos of what those rooms looked like, and I'm really sad that I missed them. That is one thing. A lot of times these worlds, they're gone after Furality. So
emissive mask on Blender, which is what most avatar creators do, but I will show you how to do it in Unity. So first of all, if your materials,
this is what I want to know.
Overlapping UVs, you should export each material as a separate mesh and make sure that the second UV channel is empty, since we want to bake on the original UV. Skin mesh renderers cannot be baked, so you also need to make sure your mesh gets imported as a mesh renderer. The easiest way would be to disable the armature in the mesh import settings. Now, since the Unity Baker always repacks UV islands, I recommend using Bakery instead. Add a Bakery light map group selector to each mesh to ensure that each mesh gets baked on a separate light map.
Whoa.
I put the settings on the right, but basically set packing mode to original UV. Now, baked normal maps is not something we can really use in VRChat boards for the reasons I mentioned previously, but for avatars it's perfect.
Is that my headset?
It doesn't look so flat anymore when the baking method was set to bake normal maps. Now, you can also use bakery lighting to create a channel packed mask.
That is my headset. Why is my headset dying?
To pure red, green, or blue colors before baking the light map. Each color channel of a baked light map then acts as a separate mask. In the custom shader, you can
That's
use
why.
Independently and use it to control different colors.
I was confused.
Use this technique in VRChat browser. For example, you could bake 3 different light sources using the red, green, and blue channels, then use a custom shader to toggle each light source on and off independently. It's an interesting way to add light switches in a world without using real-time lights, but it won't automatically update light probes, unfortunately. And here are some pictures I took of my avatar in a very dark VRChat world, just to give you a few ideas of what you could bake. You could, I don't know, bake your shirt, bake your eyeballs, bake beans, whatever.
Bake the beans.
Now, we'll start talking about the last part of this presentation, shaders, which that part of the presentation will take around 50 minutes or so. Now, Unity provides a bunch of shaders out of the box, but the VRChat community has created a lot of
he's
nice
doing good.
shaders that are, in my opinion, better than the default Unity shader.
He's doing good on time. He's gonna.
Perfect shader doesn't exist. Sometimes I end up using multiple different shaders from different creators because some shaders don't have all the features I need. I will mention 4 of my favorite word shaders: silent filamented, oral shaders, and the graphite and Mochi standard. Those shaders offer much more features than Unity standard. And after that, I will present some shader features which I use pretty much all the time, and most of the shaders I will present also support those features. Silent filamented for its simplicity. So if you're looking for a feature-rich shader that is easy to use and looks really good, I will recommend silent filamented. The shader inspector is based on Unity standard, so you can easily switch the shader of all your materials to silent filamented. Now the shader also uses the same color channel as Unity standard, so red for metallic, green for ambient occlusion, smoothness for alpha, so you don't even need to repack your masks. Huh? Now orals for the convenience and flexibility. Now there are a lot of things I like about the shaders made by orals, and I would even say they are heavily underrated. So first of all, the documentation is some of the best I've ever seen. Some properties even include a small link you can click on to directly open the relevant documentation page. The shader also includes a texture packing tool, which lets you channel pack textures without needing to open any image editing program. Now, when working with masks, you can also tell the shader where to read specific data from. For example, you can choose which channel contains the metallic information using the dropdown. I highlighted some of those dropdowns in red here in the top right corner. And lastly, if you're an HLSL shader programmer, you can write your own oral shader module and build your own shader like sticking Legos blocks together. Now, Zay Graphite if you want to learn shader development. Now, the really interesting thing about the Zay Graphite package is that it was built using Unity's shader graph, which is Unity's built-in node-based shader editor. This means you can edit the shader without needing to know HLSL. By default, shader graph does not work in VR, but the Graphite package patches it so it can be used for VRChat development. Now, if you want to learn shader development, I will recommend starting with a node-based shader editor, such as Amplify Shader Editor or Shader Graph, but Shader Graph is free. And the Zay Graphite package also includes many custom nodes that makes VRChat development a bit easier. Now, and lastly, Zay Graphite has a few unique features you won't find on any other shader. For instance, clustered burp, allowing you to add up to 128 fake real-time nexus in your scene. I put a little example here on the right. Mochi standard, also really nice. It's a very feature-rich shader. It supports a lot of things like vertex manipulation, subsurface scattering, rain, puddles, screen space reflection, etc., etc. It also supports mixed sampling modes. For instance, you can set the main texture as triplanar and the detail map as stochastic, which is something I find really cool. And now I will start talking about some useful shader features. Now, the Unity Baker supports the shader keyword transparency LM, allowing you to add light transmission properties to your material, which is nice if you want to add stained glass in your WOD. Now, Bakery does not support it, but they recently added the Bakery mesh filter component that does the same thing. Now, unfortunately, it's a more niche feature, and I haven't found a shader that supports it yet, but I shared an example shader on my GitHub repository. The link will be at the end of this presentation. Now, I use triplanar shaders when I'm a bit lazy. They basically allow you to texture a mesh without needing UVs, which is especially useful for things like modular worlds or procedurally joined maps where you want textures to align seamlessly. Triplanar shaders can technically also be used on terrains. For instance, you can project a grass texture on top-facing surfaces and dirt or rock texture on sleeper slopes. This way you can easily texture slope without using the brush tool. Bicubic light map sampling makes the light map look super smooth and not pixelated, which is really great for reducing light map resolution. Notice that the light map looks much less pixelated on the right. It's a setting I use very often. And specular occlusion or exposure occlusion, depending on the shader you're using, is a technique to hide reflections where we don't want reflections. Now, working with reflection probe isn't always easy, since reflection probes only approximate reflections. You may notice reflections where you don't want reflections, or reflections that just look wrong. Now, in those situations, it can actually be better to hide the reflections instead of showing incorrect ones. Now, like I mentioned at the start of this presentation, we can use an ambient occlusion texture to hide reflection on certain parts of the surface, and that's exactly how specular occlusion works. In case of light map specular occlusion, we are using the light map as an additional ambient occlusion texture to remove reflections from surfaces we don't want reflections. So if you're a shader developer and want to implement specular occlusion into your own shader, you basically just need to plug the light map into the ambient occlusion field, and that's basically it. I put a little example on the right, and notice the top of a pillar blends better with the background when specular occlusion is enabled. Now here's another example where the difference is much more visible. I have two separate rooms. Notice that there's a very visible seam between both of those rooms because both of those meshes are affected by different and bright reflection probes. Now the corridor is very dark, so I can use here specular occlusion to make the corridor first of all less reflective, and as a bonus, hide the visible seam. Just something to be careful about, sometimes specular occlusion removes reflections where we want reflections. In this example on the right, notice that reflections are only visible below the bright spotlight, which doesn't make much sense. Huh? So in some cases, it just doesn't make sense to use the light map as an additional ambient occlusion texture. Stochastic sampling adds randomness to break visible tiling and repetition. We can see a little example on the right, where it works pretty well on a rock texture, but if a texture has a very structured pattern, like tiles, that feature is completely falls apart. Huh? You can see that at the bottom. Huh? And very smooth surfaces can sometimes suffer from specular aliasing, which creates noisy or shimmering highlights. It is especially annoying in VR. Now, specular anti-aliasing helps reduce this effect, although the implementations varies between shaders. For instance, Orwell's uses GSAA, we can see an example on the right, and some other shaders simply increase the surface roughness at a distance or at grazing angles to smooth out the highlights. So there are different kind of implementations, but they usually work pretty well. Light map specular. So the shader uses the direction light map to estimate the position of a light source in the scene and adds specular highlights on the surface. You can see a little example on the right. So when back specular was turned on, notice that the surface kind of looks like wet paint, which I personally really like. Now it can look weird when there are multiple light sources in the scene because the shader uses the direction light map to figure out where the light source is placed. But when there are multiple light sources,
Sorry, I'm not really talking.
to figure out where the light source is actually placed, and you can get those kind of weird.
I realize I've not said anything for like I don't even know how long. I got very engrossed in this.
It computes real-time reflection in a shader and it only reflects what's visible on the screen. You may have noticed that in some words that uses screen space reflection, where if you look down, suddenly you see the reflection.
We'll probably go to the dealer's room after this
and I will recommend making it
to go look around.
And also I've had people come to me in the past to tell me that the screen space reflection looks
it's interesting. I'm glad you find it interesting.
Those kind of players, it can be useful to have also.
Like I said, I'm going to be sending you guys to essentially this after,
just a few words about performance. So when you render
like after stream today. So this is where I'm sending you guys.
This gets worse the more pixels you need to render on the screen, and in a scene that has a lot of overdraw, the same pixel can get rendered multiple times. Now, contrary to popular belief, overdraw can also very easily happen with opaque materials, especially when you have a lot of overlapping geometry. Some shader features are presented are more expensive, like bicubic light map sampling, but you will usually only notice performance issues in scenes that have a lot of overdraw. On certain shaders like Mochi Standard, bicubic light map sampling is turned on by default, but you can turn it off. On shaders like silent filamented, that feature cannot be turned off. So basically, if you notice performance issues, try to reduce the amount of overdraw in your scene, and if you reach a point where you cannot improve the overdraw issue any further, you can try turning off certain features or switching to a more lightweight shader. Also, make sure you're using more optimized shaders on further away objects. For instance, you probably don't need to use a parallax shader when the object is further away. You can do that pretty easily using LODs. And now I will finish the presentation by talking a little bit about fog. Now, there are different ways to achieve fog. Particle systems, you can use Unity Fog, which is under the Lighting tab, or you can use volumetric shaders. Now, Unity Fog is easy to set up, but it's not applied to the skybox using the default skybox shader. Now, some skybox shaders do support fog, but the fog will be applied to the entire skybox, which you do not always want to do that, since fog is usually less dense when you look straight up. So basically, Unity Fog doesn't support height-based density. An alternative would be to use a different shader like Silent Skyprobe Fog shader. Also, please do not use Bloom to add a thick fog effect in your world. Otherwise, the next e-boy avatar who joins your world with bling bling jewelries will flashbang everyone in instance. So if you use Bloom, keep the intensity pretty low. You can also clamp it and play around with the threshold to not affect avatars with weaker emissive likes. And here's a setup which I personally really like, but it's very performance heavy. It uses Aikiba's volumetric fog shader. So it is a shader that is basically very much, so it's very expensive performance wise, but if it's used correctly, it can look really, really nice. And lastly, I really like the shaders, the volumetric shader Silent made. For instance, Silent made a shader called Fake Light shader, and it allows you to add some subtle glow effects around certain objects. But it's also a really interesting alternative to fog. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching this presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new today. Here are my socials. If anyone's interested, I have a Twitter, I have a Blue Sky account, and feel free to ask me any questions on Furality's Discord server. So there should be a channel up right now. You can even ask me questions in-game if you want to. If you see me vibing at the Club Fin instance, feel free to say hi. Feel free to ask me any kind of questions.
If the panelists have time, usually after a panel like this, what they do is in the Discord server, which you get into after you register for at least for one Furality. You get in and you can stay in. You like a Discord channel will pop up where you can ask questions to the panelist.
Like a background style word has very simple geometry, as we can see in the background. So basically just have fun playing around with lights and shadows, and feel free looking for inspirations online. And don't be afraid asking for feedbacks. There are word creator related Discord channels. You could even ask your friends to visit your virtual word if they're interested. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, we do have some Q&A for you. The first question here is from Super Friend, going all the way back to light map UVs. If you want to use a separate UV map on an object for use in custom shaders, do you need to reserve UV1 for the light map in that case?
Yeah, so basically when your mesh already has a UV1, then Unity will automatically use that UV for the light maps. So if the mesh does not have UV1, then Unity will use UV0 automatically. So you need to make sure, if you build your light maps, you need to make sure that basically if you import the mesh and it says already UV1, then Unity will use the UV1 mesh. So if you're using a custom shader that already uses UV1, well, it's a bit more difficult. You probably,
Great. Data Days asked, are there any specific Blender add-ons for lightmap UVs that you'd recommend?
To be honest, I don't work with add-ons on Blender. I know that there are tools out there, but I know a few paid assets, but yeah, because I personally don't use paid assets. But to be honest, I cannot recommend any tools because I have no experience with them, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
That's fair. Let's see. Low Poly Bunny asks, what is the best lighting method for worlds with many low poly meshes?
The best lighting method for low poly meshes? Yeah, it's a more complicated question though, because the thing is, you can make
adjust a little
that are low poly look really, really nice. Like the thing is, they're also like low poly meshes. If you have toon shaded worlds that can be low poly, we can have like realistic looking worlds that are low poly.
Alright, so once this wraps up,
difficult question,
we'll probably go on and head on over, like I said, to the dealer's room.
I would say, like, if you're like working on a toon shaded,
I'm gonna start looking for a good instance to head on into.
It can still be interesting to use real-time light sources.
Do we want to head to one with more people in it? Oh, granted, you guys can't see the people. I might let you guys see the people over there.
Light sources, as many light sources as you want. If you feel like the world is too dark, you can add more light sources. Or if it's too bright, you can maybe decrease the intensity or delete more light sources. So it really depends.
At least one with the potential for more people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'll head over there.
Asks, how do you recommend tackling Quest compatible worlds in their lighting? It's usually really hard to make good lighting for Quest without sacrificing performance.
Yeah, so here for Quest, it's actually indeed very difficult to make it look nice. So the issue with Quest is also we have a performance issue. So the Quest worlds usually need to be, let's say, less low poly, and you also need to make sure that your worlds don't have too much overdraw, because that can also heavily kill the performance on Quest. For the shaders, you probably want to use like, let's say, light shaders.
I don't think any of my friends are in here.
Performance. So basically shaders that have less features on it.
Is there?
And for the light maps, well,
I know there's usually a way to find your friends.
I make 4K light maps on PC if I can, and I use
Are you guys an ad?
in 2K on Quest.
You guys are in an ad.
2K, well, the issue is that you may experience some
Alright.
liner bleeding, so you need to make sure that you have enough padding between each island to ensure that you don't
What time is it?
quest when you lower
Got about an hour
liner
left.
resolution on quest platforms. Yeah.
Great.
You aren't.
Let's see, there
You're
is
free from the
one
ads.
Substance Painter Baking by Polynomial Rainbow. What do you think about the ambient occlusion bake in Substance Painter?
Yeah, I've used it in the.
Ah, the
I
expensive
have not
program.
just a tiny, but I've baked it maybe once.
Substance Painter.
Ambient occlusion on Substance Painter. I mean, I've used it once. For the one time I used it, it worked. That's basically it. So, but yeah, you can actually also bake ambient occlusion in Unity Baker. You could technically also use it to bake the ambient occlusion back in ambient occlusion map in Unity. But yeah, Substance Painter, unfortunately, I don't have enough experience to.
There's a lot of other tools you can use besides Substance Painter out there. It's just a lot of times Substance Painter is one of the good, like,
I hope everyone learned something new today, and yeah.
that's someone who's gifted VR chat.
Thank you so much.
Someone just exploded into confetti. And that is someone who bought the Sakura package. Alright. And that's the end of the panel. Like, they just fed up. So, what happens now is technically this world is now on a, like, not this world, but this instance is now on a timer. People usually start to trickle out, start making their way out. Technically, you could sit in this world and then you will start to see the next panel. Sometimes. I know that worked in past years. But most of the time people will switch over to the next world. For the next panel, they'll switch over into those instances. That way they can meet up with other people and stuff like that. Because right now, no one else can get into here unless you're in like a group or something like that and you join your friend. You have to join off someone who's in this world now. The people down in front of me yapped quite a bit throughout the panel. And they had... Sounds like they had a lot of fun. And were yapping quite a bit. Just curious who's in here. Oh, that reminds me. I did want to put myself as actually, like, online. Anyways. Shall we go exploring the dealer's room? I think I'm gonna try and stick myself in a 70 instance. There's only 40 people in it right now. And it's big enough where I think I can handle that with my safety settings turned on. So. Let's head over there. If it'll let me. Invite failed. Okay, let me refresh. Let me refresh the page. So, I didn't mean the event closed. It's the dealer's room. The idea of the room doesn't close. Oh, I know what part of the problem is. Since the panel just ended, everyone is currently on the website trying to switch for areas. Errors occurred. Am I not logged in? Server temporarily unavailable. We broke the website. Oh, we might be staying in here. Right, well, that's doing its thing. Oh, shall we explore a little bit in this world? Let me zoom you guys out some. Look like a lounging couch here. Really nice. Has like a table. You got like can't grab the balls. There's a lot of stuff you can't actually grab. I like these little beetles. I'm gonna put money on that's the thing that's gonna be created into an avatar. I bet you these are gonna be avatars that you can run around as by the time the convention's over. Oh. It's a little broken right now. Oh, it's over here. Oh, okay. When you first spawn in here, I found where the graphics are, audio. Can you grab the stream? Oh, hello. Hello. Okay, you can change the stream resolution. You can resync it globally. Component. There's audio. Graphics doesn't seem to be wanting to work. Huh. Usually you can change your graphics. There's like posters on the tables. Can you run up? You can run up on the lighting system. That's a big mouse. Big robo mouse. If I don't crash. You guys can watch them. Like a little bar area here. Oh, what's that? Oh, is that the control? Oh, yeah. I think I found the control. Okay. Okay, so they didn't try to hide the control room this time. Oop, hello. Welcome in, Sean. I appreciate the follow. We're hanging out, just sort of looking around the panel room right now at Furality. We just finished watching a panel on Unity lighting. I think I found the control room. Last year they tried to hide it. We all found it. It was a very blank room, so it looks like they actually decorated the control room this time. Game paused. I like how they put stuff on the screens. Can I get down here? No. There's an invisible barrier. Look another drink area over here. Got some seats. Oh, I like those lighting. No, it's very bright. Hang on. There you go. Actual lighting. I like those. Let me bring that up again so you guys can actually see me. It'll look better once I'm in my Nova. So. Okay. Let's try loading that up again. Oh, we got farther. The site's no longer broken. Event closed. Dealer's room was not closed before. We had access to the... Who closed the dealer's room? There we go. No longer closed. Okay, let's quickly find one to join before it closes up again. Alright, I'm gonna join that one. Has the potential to get big. Invite failed. Try that one. Invite cute. There we go. Alright. Let's head over to the dealer's room. No, look at you didn't do it. It's okay. I hate to say it, but it's fairly common for some technical difficulties during Furality. It is a convention held entirely digitally. There's going to be some problems that happen. Alright, and we got like another 45 minutes or so before I need to get going. I don't know if Sherry's going to join me today or not. I know he'll be joining me later on. Okay, the dealer's den is like half loaded. We're working on it. Enjoy me sleeping there. So, in the dealer's room, no kids in this room. Yeah. Why didn't that message come through there? Oh, there it is. Okay. Minesweeper? I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. Who's playing Minesweeper? That is a fun game. I'm actually pretty decent at that game too. Anyways, dealer room is here, so let's go. See what other booths are there. Ooh, fun game. Okay. For some reason, the graphic settings are a little broken. And everyone is congregating here. So I'm going to go ahead and just move away a little bit. See if I can get mine. I didn't notice that water was going up. I didn't even notice that fountain there. Well, can I get my map? There we go. Yes. Sync those. Okay, so the graphics are just broken. The graphic settings right now. Oh, that's interesting. You can actually see everyone. Alright. Do you guys have an area you guys want to go explore? Anyone more than the other? Alright. Well... we will look around out here first, because I know there were some booths that we're not in yet. It's gonna be in the cone? Don't know. That's gonna be one of the performances, though. Hang on. Things are a little bit hard for me to see right now. Just because I can't lower the performance, the graphics of the world. Hopefully they do a hot fix on that, because, oof. I'm a struggling. Why am I not logged in? No, log in, please. Thank you. I want schedule. And hello, how you doing? Give me a second. There's like 4 days, so I have to scroll for a bit. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to read that schedule right now. I'm not gonna be able to tell right now. Anyways, I'm gonna be looking at booths, so let's hopefully not crash. Let me readjust where I am and see if I can get a better signal. Because part of it's my Wi-Fi. I think you were already in here. You do some fursuits. You do some avatar retexturing. Everything's very quiet, which means everything is frozen. Oh yeah. This world's a bit struggly. We may have to come back to this tomorrow and see if they've fixed the graphics indicator. Because I'm definitely gonna have to be on a lower graphics setting when I'm in here with you guys. Named Smokey? There's someone named Smokey in here? They have a booth in here? Do you know what area they're in? Because I'm pretty sure there's over 500 booths in here. If I remember correctly, this person in here worked on some of the assets for Furality. Yeah, prefabs. Okay, we're gonna take it slow, as everything's a little glitchy for me. Ooh, how'd I get up there? There we go. Stage light. Stage flight is a VR club. Oh yeah, this is the like VR club group, which I immediately clocked and was like, okay, I'll join this one, because they have one of my, in the video they had one of my favorite DJs, furry DJs, which I've rated you guys into before. Avian Invasion, which that video looks really cool. Looks like a lot of fun. I don't know where they are, but they did say they will be there. Okay. Do you know what they do? Do they do avatar retextures? Is it like a base they sell? Is it artwork? Because that will help me figure out where they might be. Got more avatars. Avatar edits and assets. We got some retextures. We got stickers. We all love stickers. What's over here? Illustrations, references, badges. If I can move, I'll show you. Pup pack. Unique package ready to upload. 5 different species options. That one's the fox. So some avatar types. Those are nice. Oh, I think the big group of people finally is somewhat left. We got jingle keys. We got jingle keys. Do you guys want the jingle keys? Did I see how much the jingle keys are so I can jingle keys at you? As I slightly crash. Yeah, if they've made a post about it, a lot of them have made like where they are in like their locations and stuff like that. Easy change of lighting in any world to suit your photo shoots. Ooh, that's another lighting system. I'm gonna take a look at that one. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna favorite. Yes, I want you to resync. Sync for me. Sync my favorites. Thank you. Allow you. Yes. Sync. Don't sync my stream. And they were syncing the stream, not the favorites. New cardboard badge. I love like the like silly cardboard badges and stuff like that. I find them to be like super silly and stuff like that. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Things are a little funky. I'll have to come back here at some time for that. I'm looking for a good lighting system for photography. It'd be nice if I could stop crashing. What time is it? My goal right now is to get through this main area. If we can do that, I'll call that a success. We got badges in here. Illustrations. If I could turn my head without a crash, that'd be nice. And just some info about the artist. Which, like, their avatar looks cool. That big group is congregating right there again. Still. We almost made it in the booth. Okay. We got handmade stickers, custom keychains, badges. Illustrations, telegram stickers. I think the custom like keychains and stuff like that's really cool. Just a full-on custom keychain of your avatar. Welcome to the shop. I love to create sounds. I craft and didn't add many of the sounds for this convention with care and attention to detail. If you like to hire or get info of my services, says I crash. I didn't even move. Services. I can't see. Everything's blurry. Everything's crashing. This might be where we end stream because I am crashing so much right now. Hello, I wish to see. Screens included. Feel free to send me a message on my socials. So, this is the person who's created all the sounds in the world. And let me tell you, I praise these sounds a lot. So, that's really cool. Looks like this is this is the booth that does the fireworks and the like lighting. It looks like for the dance. Does all that stuff. Like, look at some of those. Look at some of those amazing things. Like, these are expensive prices. Same thing with the sound one, but it makes sense. So if I believe I understand how the numbering work, his booth number is 5049. Okay. We're in the 900s. Alright, let me figure out where 5049 is. Then, we're just gonna pop our head into other. Actually, no. We're gonna finish looking at these. And then we will pop our head into other. Someone didn't get in. It's like crash. 904 did not get in! No! If this makes it in, don't blame me. Who's coming soon? I love that. They just add stickers and stuff like just like oops. Ooh, optimize avatar assets. In other words, you are a god. Wait, are you the one who like did the concept art? I'm Monkey. I don't think I said your name right. And I'm doing 2 and 3D. You might recognize my work from games like Shadowrun or Cyberpunk or movies like Hunger Games or Necromancer? I'm not sure about that one. More likely though, from Umbra or Somna last year. Come say hi on Blue Sky or support me on Ko-Fi. Furries are everywhere. And Cheerio, hi. It's sort of wild to think like the people who worked on this convention, like the worlds of this convention, worked on things like Cyberpunk or what are the other ones? Or movies like The Hunger Games. It's just it really goes to show like furries are everywhere. And in some absolutely amazing fields of work. Hello, I found a wall. I crashed it, I found a wall. Yes. Kitty cat. They have a very silly avatar. Uh, I don't know if you've seen this guy on socials or without all the gear. He has like really like pretty darn good face tracking and decent body tracking. Cheerio, will you be joining me? I'm not going to go on for too much longer. Um, will you be joining? Or are you going to join after? Also, I got up on the ship. Host not responding. Error resolved. Hello, I'm back. Can't keep me down. Maybe. As I crash again. What do you mean, host not responding? The host is right there! He's taking care of some stuff real first. Yeah, so, alright, let me have my camera! Without a crash. Please. Please. Okay. Let me have it. Let me have it without a crash. Thank you. Okay. So, that up there. We zoom. We zoom, 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 zoom. That is where the panels are held. That's where we were technically. Like, physically, we were in an entirely different world. But, technically, that's where we were. Isn't that cool? And that, like, dome out in the distance? That is the main convention hub. What do I got? Savali. Face tracking. I mean, is this... Wait, are you... Are you... Are you the person who's done... You do music. I don't know why I'm not hearing anything from that. Also, Cheerio, heads up. All the quality settings for the worlds are currently broken. You can't change quality settings in the worlds. So best of luck. They be broken, and I don't know why. Looks like this person does soundtracks for each convention. Has been doing for a while too. Since I forget it. I think Luma came before Aqua. I don't know. I did not attend those convent. I didn't attend Luma, Aqua, or Silva. I started with Umbra. Ah, the avatar that I am slightly uncomfortable with. I'm sorry, but the face. I don't know why. I can't, like, this particular blend shape of the face. I can't. I don't mind it so much when it's like this. But the way it was over there, no, not so much. It is a really cool one because there's a lot of customization in the facial structure and everything like that. Just within Unity, so you don't need to like pull it out or mess around with it. Like, it's showing off a lot of the customization. Alright, what was the guy? 55049. Okay, yep, we're in the right area. This is the 5,000s. So what area am I in now? Other. We are in the other area. 33. Is there a directional sign over here? There's not. Uh, 49. Some people didn't get their booths in time. Though there are some new booths. 92, 91. Okay. So I am going the right direction. 80. 70. 60. 50. We're close. 56. 55. What's the center? 49. 50, 49. Right here. Hang on. Have I seen this one before? Oh, well, hang on. Can't see anything right now. I would like to see, please. I'm not sure if I've seen this. No. You do not. Okay. It may move. Okay. So, is that the person you were looking for? Over there? That's him? Alright.
Hi, I suck at introductions, but my name is Smokey, and this is my company, Stardog Jewelry. I make a variety of things, such as gemstone watches and Sona watches. I also do regular jewelry, such as gold and silver.
Prices starting at 25. Various variants based on chosen watch base.
I am that rock guy on the internet, on these socials. Now I'm going to give you a rock fact. Did you guys know that galasite is a
Sona based gemstone watch. Prices starting at. What is that?
Removed from its host sediment. I'll give you one more. Tremolite is the
250 to 300, depending on the stone's rarity and the watch. I create a range of handmade gemstones and Sona watches. I am Smokey. I'm a professional gemstone cutter, jeweler, and I make videos online about rocks. So, if I can continue reading, please. I also make Sona-based jewelry, watches. Thanks for looking in my booth.
I've been a gemstone cutter for over 10 years. I take a variety of commissions.
So,
I would love to do something with your Sona and make you into beautiful
yeah,
jewelry.
right here.
You might know me for is I am that rock guy on the internet.
Here's the booth you were looking at.
You a rock fact. Did you guys know that galasite is a hydrated sodium calcium carbonate that it spontaneously dehydrates when removed from its host sediment? I'll give you one more.
Thank God there's a little bit late. Of course. It's no problem. That is a really cool thing. Me and Shira were talking. There's a lot of people who are just I had like shoved into the other and even into the illustration that are just retexturing avatars. So it's really nice to see someone who's actually doing something that's other. Something that's like actually good for this category. That's not an like something that's an avatar based retexture or something like that. Me and Shiro jokingly said there's going to be a category next year that's just retexturing avatars. So for all the people who are just like, this is what we do, this is our main thing, they're all gonna get put in there. I'm curious if my progress got reset on my... Hello, you silly pup. I wish to see my progress on my... Cheerio. All our badges are gone. We need to do it all again. So they have essentially like in-world achievements. So and me and Shiro were slowly working our way through them all. Yeah, they reset. Which is something I thought might happen. Considering things were like, you know, it was the public world. Okay, so this says coming soon. I'm sorry, the convention's open. What? How much more time do we have? There's only a few days of the convention. Is it gonna come in tomorrow? Maybe when they hotfix... Oh! I teleported to the other store. Oh. I think I teleported to the other store. Yeah. I'm in the illusions area. Now. Art. I think there was a hidden achievement, wasn't there? I don't know how to get art critic. Because it's secret and says some art deserves your undivided attention. I don't know how to get that one. I'm not sure how to get that one. Find all sphere biome. They've added more. Spend 10 minutes on grass. Take a bath in the tropical pools. Oh, okay. They've added more. That's why I got reset. They've changed them. That's why. I love just teleporting around. It's like, we don't know where I'm gonna end up. Alright. Love that for me. I'm getting motion sick because of that. That is such a weird thing. Like, a lot of people get motion sick from running around like this. I get motion sick from teleporting. Alright. However, it is that time, unfortunately, where I need to get wrapped up. Sure, I will be back shortly into Furality, just after people get home and stuff like that, and I get settled. I am going to send you guys off to Furality. So, you guys will get to continue to, in a sense, enjoy the convention. Though, I'm going to actually take a look and see. I know, sad times. It's the end. I will be back again tomorrow. We'll be here. The dance floor will be open. So, party. And before we go, would you guys like a sneak peek of the Nova? Since you guys have sat here oh so nicely with me and you kept me company. Would you guys like that? Alright. I might need to put clothes on, so just fair warning. Oh, no, I do have my clothes on. Alright. That is not correct. This is... Hello? Or is it just the lighting in here? Hang on. It might just be the lighting in here. Playing weird with my shaders. There's no one else around here. I can yap. Hello, can I move? Thank you. Alright. Zoom out some. So, this is my outfit. It appears to have uploaded the... I think it uploaded the... No, it didn't upload that one because I'm glowing. I think I'm appearing brighter on camera than I am in person. I don't know why my shading is not, like, showing up in this world. It's showing up on there. I don't get that. Oh well, I'll figure it out. I'll have to mess around with this one a little bit. But, you know, I got a new outfit, so... It really shines when I have audio link going in the world. So you guys will get to see that tomorrow. You guys will get to see the full look tomorrow. All nice and shiny and flashy and all the fun stuff there. So give me a second as I proceed to try and get you guys off to someone else. Oh, that's part of my problem. Hello? Can I have my hand? I wish for window display. No, not a crash. A window display. There we go. Alright, that's what I was looking for. Okay. We can do the rest by mouse. Where is that? There it is. Okay. Let's go find someone to send you guys off to. Like I said, I should be sending you guys on off to Furality. However, there are a lot of people in here, essentially. So, would you guys like to go to someone who's streaming Furality? Get them neon light. Look, yeah, it's sort of the look I'm going for, considering, this is meant to be, Furality tells a story every year. And this year it is, like, this is a retro online, like, MMO game, sort of, social game. And it's about to close down. It's like, this is the final few days of it, essentially. Anyways, would you guys like to go to someone streaming Furality, or would you guys like to go to Furality? You guys want to watch the panel or watch someone hanging out? If we're going to someone's hanging out, I don't know who they are. I'm just sending you off to them, so. Someone hanging out? Alright. I'm gonna look a little funky because I need my proper eyes to do that. So, hold tight. I'm gonna look funky. You'll still be able to hear me. Thanks. It's just gonna look funky. Hey, you're back. Okay. You all still with me? Sorry about that. The internet decided to take a quick nap. As I was trying to find someone to send you all off to. Give me a hot second as I keep looking now that everything's loading in. Who's here? Who's around? Who? It looks like they have a good vibe. Give me you. I want to check you out. They're doing a shared chat. I wanted to see your content more. Alright. I don't know who this person is. I'm sending you to guys over to Alex Rivercat. They do have their stream marked as mature. But I'm gonna send you guys on over there. So You guys go over there. Be kind. Be nice. We'll see what they're like. If you like the vibes over there, maybe hang out. They're over in the dealer's room too. They're hanging out in some booths. I think they're over in the assets area, if I'm recognizing that booth correctly. So you guys go do that. Let me properly say bye to you. Hello. 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 Hi. Okay. So like I said, you guys are gonna go over there. Be kind. Be nice. Be wonderful. I'm not gonna send you guys with a raid message. I'm not gonna hit that button. It's over there somewhere. It's slightly broken. I don't know why it's broken, but it's broken. Oh yeah, you guys gonna go do that. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be at the rave. We'll have fun. We'll probably also be in here. We'll go hang out. We'll do things. I might start stream early. So keep your eye out for that. If I wake up on time. But you guys are about to go. So, shoo. Goodbye.